police. It's the police. Wow, he's going that way. Hey everybody, Matt Cribbs here, and welcome back to another Wednesday morning drive. How are you doing? I'm great. It's a good week. It's a cold February, but actually it's not as cold as it was. But if you can see around, there's remnants of a snowfall from last week. So we're just recovering from that, and it's a beautiful winter. As far as everything goes, we're passing, there's 2 police cars pulled someone over. And we're going really slow right now. Anyway, so this week I am going to start in keeping with our focus here, our refocus here on this channel on the beauty and wonder and fabulous times of role-playing games. I'm going to focus a little mini-series here. I'm going to find there are a ton of great role-playing games on mobile devices nowadays, phones, tablets, whatever. And so I'm going to start doing a mini-series here, reviewing some of the best, or maybe not the best, mobile role-playing games that I can find for the Android phone. So, gonna go through. Since I do this every week on Wednesday, I'm going to, talk about the game that I chose, and then the next day, Thursday, start playing the next one. So each review will be about a week's worth of me having the game, playing it, and seeing what I think. And then afterwards, you'll get my thoughts on it. So I thought this would be a kind of a cool thing to do, cool way to focus. So the first one that we have this week is called HIT, I guess you could call it. Heroes of Incredible Tales. And it is available on Android and I believe iOS. It does not have an equivalent desktop. But hey, this is focused on mobile. Some of them do, so I'll mention if they do. And if role-playing games, especially on mobile, tend to fall into a couple different categories. One is ports of old desktop games, because our phones are now as powerful as computers were back in the day. Day when I wasn't so young either, so there's that. But yeah, things like Baldur's Gate, Knights of the Old Republic, Shadowrun, maybe I'll cover some of those too, but I think I'll actually play those on the desktop version since they're available. Another one is roguelikes. Rogue was a great game way back, where basically they're characterized by random dungeon generation, and frequently very unforgiving and hard, and you adventure through. So that's a whole category. Another one is, I guess what you would call Diablo-esque, or as I call it, basically gear collection games, more than necessarily role-playing games, but they fall into that category. And HIT is definitely one of those gear collection games. So it is developed by Nexon, which is a Korean company. Well, I don't know if it's developed by them. That's the one that comes up on the splash screen and what shows up in the Android store, so it might be published by them, whatever. It is built on the Unreal Engine, so it is a beautiful looking game, although I guess those two don't necessarily follow. You can have an ugly game on the Unreal Engine, but this one is not. This one is beautiful. And it is a game where you go through, you take a character, you level it up, you run through dungeon after dungeon after dungeon, killing monsters, and you get better gear so that you can turn around and kill more powerful monsters, so that you can get more gear so you can turn around and kill more powerful monsters, etc., etc. And it does have other elements. It has some challenges, it has daily quests, it has a guilding system, and it has all sorts of things like that. So some of the criteria that I'm going to use to evaluate what I think about these games is, kind of just the general aesthetic, the look and feel, the quality of it, graphics and stuff like that. The next one will be gameplay. And then we'll talk about, plot and story, and then replayability. And as you have to do on mobile, the cost of these games, because frequently they're free, but they're not really free, because if you want to do stuff, you pay to win, as you would call it. So the first one of these, the graphics and aesthetic of this game, it is a beautiful game. It is really, you know, the environments are beautiful, the monsters are, you know, terrifying and interesting and cool. The characters and the armor is just great. When you get new armor, you know, it shows up on your character, and the gear changes as it levels up. The art, when it's not in the 3D, is also beautiful. It's a very it is a very Korean style game, so sometimes that shows. The female characters in particular are known for particularly skimpy outfits. Yeah, you see panties quite a bit. At one point, I was literally running around killing monsters in a Playboy bunny costume. I was in a black leotard with rabbit ears and a giant scythe, basically. So totally not practical, but really cool looking. There are 5 characters you can be. I'm not going to say their names because I don't remember them. Basically, there's 2 guys, one with 1 sword, one with 2 swords. There's 3 girls. One has this big side thing. One casts magic, and one has a bow. So that's your characters. The story is kind of interesting. It's you know, a god created the world, has angels, seraphims that protect it, and one of them fell and wants to have free will, but you're just an extension of my will. You can't have free will, and so invades the world, kills things, something else falls. It's an interesting story, but you're only given the story in cutscenes every 5 levels. The leveling is, the missions are split up into batches of 10 each, and so every mission, beginning and end, usually you'll get a cutscene, and then at the middle one, you'll get that, where it's just 2 or more of the characters talking about the plot and all of that. And because of that kind of separation, and I think because it's short, the plot's a little disjointed, to tell the truth. A lot of times, and sometimes they have little side ones where they have these two fight orcs or whatever they are, monsters, who are clearly Mario and Luigi, talking about being video game villains. It's funny. But there's sometimes where, you know, something would happen, and I'm like, wait, what? Like the Archmage or whatever it was. Like, her and this main character are arguing, and then all of a sudden she's in prison. And I'm like, wait, when did that happen? So, cool potential, but kind of disjointed, and, you know, don't really get too much into it. And eventually, as you progress through the game, the plot runs out. I haven't seen plot in a while. So you just go through, you grind those, grind your gears, and keep going. The levels themselves are pretty interesting. You can play through them on your own to get through ones that require a little more complexity, but it has an interesting little autoplay button, and there's an auto repeat button. So if you want to grind, say, gems or something that you need to upgrade your gear, you can literally find the mission you want to do, click auto repeat and autoplay, and then walk away from your phone. Make sure it's plugged in, because this game does suck down batteries. But it'll just run through 30 missions for you, as long as you have the tickets that let you play them, and you don't have to do a thing. So it's kind of cool from that point of view. I just left it running at dinner, left it running at work, plugged in on my phone, and, you know, went to a meeting and came back, and it was still going. So it's kind of cool. There are the repeatability is fine. I mean, in the week I've been playing it, this one I played a little bit longer, because I was playing it for a little bit before I decided to do this thing. So a little bit longer than a week. But there is literally too much to do in this game for me at least, even with, you can have multiple characters. So I got 3 going right now, and with the daily quests and with the grinding I'm still doing to level, to clear things, and with the PvP, there's like several different forms of PvP. There's raid type things where you all get together with more and fight a boss. There's, one-on-one duels. There's group duels. I have a hard time completing all the content that's available to me in a given day with my schedule. So I'd say, it's high, and it doesn't really get all that boring. There's tons and tons of stuff to do. That said, there is somewhat of a time-based mechanic, which is very common in mobile games, where you'll get some kind of resource over time. Say, X tickets a day, and then each mission or thing you do costs tickets or gold, and you'll get... This one has multiples of those. There's separate ones for PvP and adventure, and there's all sorts of things. It's kind of complicated. Actually, I will say that this is a pretty complicated game, and when you first open it up, the choices are overwhelming. Like, there's so many buttons to click, and some of the buttons have buttons inside the buttons, and it's just, there's a lot to do. So yeah, there is some kind of gating mechanism, but honestly, there's so much to do that I haven't run out in a single day. It is definitely, I don't know if I would call it a pay-to-win game. It's free to play. You can download it and play it. But they definitely aggressively sell things. I think this morning when I logged in to actually get to the gameplay screen, I went through 5 different pop-ups of, buy this gem and armor pack for $30. And prices seem to range from like $20 to $100 and up dollars. So it's expensive to buy those things if you want to buy them. I haven't bought a single one. I'm not planning to. As near as I can tell, everything you can buy in the packs with real money is also available in the game without real money. It will just take you more time. So it's a pay to speed things up style game, I guess. The way loot is distributed is via these cards you get, and the card is a random item of a certain type. And it may be that in the cards you get in a pay pack are a slightly different type of card that have higher percentages to get things, but there's a big element of random, and I honestly don't like paying money for totally random stuff, because it's a waste. It's a lottery. But a lot of games do that, because I guess a lot of people don't mind spending money that way. So, that's what it is. Overall, I would say Heroes of Incredible Tales, or Hit Game, very cool. I enjoy it. It's a lot of fun. I think it's actually going to stay on my phone after this week, and I'll keep playing it. I'll keep playing it. So very, very cool. I definitely recommend you check it out. And yeah, thumbs up. All right, guys. See you next week with another game. If you have any games that are your favorites that you would like me to take a look at for a week, let me know, and I'll put them on my list. So keep adventuring. I'll see you next week. Bye.